Sorry about that. Okay, let's start. It's been a busy day, so please forgive me. The we just had to take care of some saboteurs on this 1,904 days since Richard was forcibly removed from the barracks room, and he was taken to a location that was soundproof right there on Fort Bliss, and they took his life. Now he fought back, and our information that we're getting, and we seem to be always right. Our sources seem to be very, very good. Tell us that Richard did a lot of damage. He knocked one of the perpetrators' mouth in, and they had to have emergency dental work. So yeah, so he lost his life, but he's a warrior, a hero. Um, and that just tells you his character, that he was fighting for his life. He told us that he was fighting for his life. And and I didn't really, I didn't know, it was all COVID time, so many things were so crazy. Um, eh, I tell you. But he was fearing for his life. He absolutely indicated that that things were very, very bad, and that if he left his barracks room, that his life would be in danger. Yeah. So let's see if I'm live, and I think this is real. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on so late. It is so crazy late. But it's been such a busy day again, with the Ricardo Samaniego. So our sources are telling us that he's under investigation for impersonating a um, judicial officer, and that can be so confusing, because when if you don't know the history of Texas, if you don't know the history of the legal system and the judicial system in Texas, and you just move there, or things like this happen, um, and you hear that someone is the county judge, you automatically think a judicial officer. You automatically think that he has authority as a judicial officer. We thought that of Veronica Escobar, because she was the county judge. And, during the time with Mario Raskin Ortiz, she's the one that brought him in. She's the one that signed the checks to pay this illegal, unqualified cartel, uh, tied to FTO's chief medical examiner, who gets $500,000, just about $500,000 a year. She's the one, as county judge, she held the checkbook. And so this was a big deal. But, and so the title of county judge is very deceptive, because they are not judicial. They are administrative. They are administrative. That's what their role is. And they do not have a law degree. Veronica Escobar doesn't have a law degree. Ricardo Samaniego, it's almost 1 o'clock. It is 1 o'clock. Um, doesn't have a law degree. He doesn't have a law degree, y'all. And there's a lot of things uh, I was trying to put down as notes before I came on here, but I'll wrap my head around it tomorrow, and because this goes very deep. This goes very deep, and it's very important, because he presides over the commissioner's court in the county courthouse. That all gives a perception, and is very deceptive, that he has judicial powers, that he has judicial authority. And so, what we're hearing, the complaint is that he he was abusing that. He was abusing that perception, that deception, and I guess and there's more because of other things that are going on that I'll report on about him. And he's up for election, so this all needs to be talked about. But that he was abusing that situation, that title, um, and uh, and so he was up to no good. So he was up to no good, and we're hearing that like he can obstruct a case, he can make sure no case moves forward, and things like this. Judicial judicial powers. And he doesn't have any judicial powers. He's administrative. He should be called the county administrator or the county executive, and he should preside. The commissioner's court should be called the commissioner's council, or yeah, something like this. And they should absolutely never meet in the for their business in the county courthouse. It just gives a perception of a judicial officer, which he is not, which he is absolutely not. So that is good evening. Thank you so much, Christina, for coming on, and Laura for coming on. Exactly. So that post went up, and I got a lot of love for that post. A lot of love. Messages to me saying thank you so much for clarifying that. That was always confusing. I didn't realize that. Now I understand. It has a historical title, but it in reality he's just an administrator, and the commissioner's court is just a county commissioner's council and administrative council. It's not a court like we would think of in a judicial officer's situation. So I got a lot of love, but we seem to have hit the nail on the head, because a campaign was then put together very rush. It was really stupid. It's really stupid that you think that you can impersonate us again, impersonate us, and impersonate us on our own page, reaching out to our own followers. So those that are up to no good, right? That we hit the nail on the head. We hit something. We hit a nerve. We hit a nerve really hard, and they had to collaborate and collude and whatever for friends to attempt to sabotage that post, the post with Samaniego, and they were impersonating us and reaching out to those that are new followers too, that really are just learning this case, and they're just up to no good, trying to be up to no good. And that's what criminals do. That's what criminals do, that are fraudsters, that are impersonators, like Ricardo Samaniego, like Manny Chavira, like Mario Raskin Ortiz, like Dallas Hart. Dallas Hart. Um, there's so many similarities in this, and I'll lay them out. In denial, and manipulation, and being a fraudster, and saying you were here and you were there. Just lying, lots of deception over and over again. And but the facts, it's like Rafael Arellano Caron saying that he's not the owner, or he's not saying it, or his allies are saying, oh, he's not the owner of Plenitude Crematorium, where the evidence is overwhelmingly that of course he's the owner of Plenitude. Over 20 years, almost 21 years, he's been his family has been the owner, and and him being the owner, and his brother is in jail for it. So and I went over that, just a few of the evidence yesterday, and now I'm gonna show the. Let me see if I can do this today. This was. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it to work. Okay, did that work? Okay, let me know if that worked. Okay, so um yeah, so here it is. The four friends, and here is the clue. The fourth bliss. Everything else I blacked out because um when you're impersonating, the whole point of it is to make the person or the group or the page or the movement or the justice or whatever look bad. So I think the main points is look for the four friends and the fourth bliss, and please do not respond. Do not, these people are criminals, and because of our system's so good, right? With all of our sources, it really seems to be a Leilani Hart doing this, and we haven't been wrong yet. So uh, are double checking, triple checking, then other methods really have been working amazingly well. And so this seems to be Leilani Hart, and you have to realize that Leilani Hart. Let me see if I can pull up another one. Let's see if I can pull up another um, slide. I'm trying to about Leilani. Oh, I don't have it on here. Okay. I'll do this one. So, but Leilani Hart, of course, she confessed in a notarized affidavit to facilitating the worst type of crimes against children and failing to report on them for decades. For decades. She also confessed to immigration fraud. Okay, so that's very, very important in all of this because she could be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go back to Samoa, um, or maybe back to China. I don't know because she speaks Chinese, and this is important in this case. This is very important in this case. She was getting her mail at Dreams Cabaret, and of course, she is the mother of Dallas Hart, Richard's platoon leader, and she is a prime suspect in the murder of our son. Um, uh, and also, she was receiving leaked information from her cousin who lost his badge, not lost his badge, but had his badge terminated in 2021, CID Tavita Nusa. And, and Tavita Nusa's brother, Solomon Nusa, who is some kind of big chieftain or whatever in Samoa, which is a problem in especially because her Samoa is the Samoa that's not part of the United States, okay? That is not part. So that gives her that immigration problem. Um, but this Solomon Nusa, he was mortuary operations. So of course he would know like Amber Chase, who was mortuary affairs. Um, so that yes, I will get to your comments shortly. I just want to finish these thoughts because the point about Leilani, her very long criminal record before it started before Richard was even born. Okay, she's a convicted criminal. This is really important because it shows that her for decades she has been engaged in deception, criminal activity, and all all kinds of up to no goodness. Okay. She's just, she needs to be sent back, or she needs to be in prison. She needs probably the highest penalty. Um, I'll leave that up for the courts, but it's pretty bad. So, yeah, for her to be worried, for her to have a motive to give so much time to this case, it confirms what they did to Richard. Okay, it really does. It confirms, because there's an easy way. If none of this is true, she could do a cease and desist. She could, there's all kinds of other, but she doesn't. And this 100% disability that she got, it was very tough being a dental assistant. It was very, very tough, and her husband thought it was very, very tough to be a dental assistant. And so, yeah. And of course, she uh, worked for the U.S. Postal. She worked for UPS, and up to no good. I mean, really, uh, uh, the evidence is so high against her. She needs to be arrested. And of course, we know that Connell Wetton, because he goes, they're in the same Mormon faction. And she's protected because of that. This Mormon faction has been a common denominator in all of this. And but he's a big has a big position in the FBI office there in El Paso. He is the assistant SAC, the special agent in charge. So, yeah, so this, uh, they absolutely have motive, right? Because that's all been reported and filed, but they have absolute motive to try to silence us and to try to, and the way they silence us is silencing you, right? Because you are the ones that share. You're the ones that come on and listen. And I'm so very appreciative for that. So they've been contacting people behind the scenes, behind our back, deceiving them from the very get-go, And now they're doing it as impersonators, and they've been impersonating from the beginning too. But this was so bad. So first I want to apologize to anybody that they targeted, which was a lot of people. They targeted a lot of people. And I don't know if it's totally stopped because, their friends are, cybersecurity people. They have, huge motive, and resources to put into finding ways to sabotage, um, getting justice for Richard. And because our numbers are climbing, we're almost at 9,000. Um, and that's with being shadow banned. That's not with paying for anything. That is just hard work and reaching out to everybody. And also, because of our sources giving us breaking news. And, we've been so so uh, humbled, because we've been told many times lately that we are the source to go to for if people want to know the truth, and the corruption that's going on there in El Paso borderland. We are the source. Um, and I mean, we are the place to go to, because of our wonderful sources that want El Paso to finally be rid of this grip of cartel tied, Mormon faction, uh, fraudsters that have gripped El Paso and created such high taxes. You see that with Ricardo Samaniego passing these bonds without any kind of election. And and then voting in raises for himself and everything, where the people of El Paso have to pay these very exorbitant taxes unless you have your husband working in the VA IDS Pueblo and can give you 100% disability. um this not, and I don't want to people that have disability, there that is um a special um heartfelt thank you to all of our veterans, and for that to be abused, instead of given to those that are truly maimed, and disabled, is really, it's isn't it stolen valor, like, right? um I need a lawyer to tell me that, because it is just so bad, the corruption that's going on in the VA IDS Pueblo. Now, in the last, since President Trump has been in, I don't know if they've gotten a hold of that. I hope so. I hope so. Okay, so um, let's see. Let me read the comments real quick, because if any of you have been contacted behind the scenes by us, misled and everything, um, eh, and not by us, but impersonators, right? Impersonators. Um, please let us know. Please let us know, because we have reported this and reported this to authorities, and they're really working hard. You have to remember, um, when we were really, oh man, when they were really coming after us, and it was so bad. It was so bad. And I'm pretty tough, I'm pretty tough skinned, but it was so bad. And I was like, oh, we can't take this any longer. We've got to absolutely. We learned how to trace burner phones. And it took a little bit. It took a little bit to learn how to trace the burner phones, but we did it. And we ended the harassment, the intimidation, the threats. We've had death threats. We've had all kinds of stuff. Y'all, they've tried everything to, make us go away, so that they could get away with destroying El Paso and our military and our government, our country, our, really our world. Because as El Paso goes, so goes Texas. As Texas goes, so goes the United States. As the United States goes, so goes the world. And that is really, El Paso is just absolutely special, because it is this epicenter of the criminal trafficking. And so this is why this is so important, and why all of this is on President Trump's table. Okay. This is all on President Trump's desk. Okay. That I just want to make sure that people understand that, because there is sabotage, because there is mutiny, because there is, bad actors and impersonators, people impersonating MAGA, that has been going on. People impersonating officials, like, abusing their titles and making it out to be more than what it is. That's Ricardo Samaniego. Um, yeah, it's very, very, there is a battle going on, right? There is a battle. And I think people are getting it, because President Trump won, and we're still here. We're still here, and we're getting closer and closer. Right now, we're at the point where we are in those vicious negotiations for repatriation of our son's body. That's where we're at. Okay. This is vicious negotiations, in the repatriation of our son's body. And I can't stress that enough, um, for people to understand what's going on. So, and it seems that, this impersonating group, or even the owner of Plenitude Crematorium, that they're getting really bad advice, right? Very bad advice, that they are tampering with evidence, that they are committing more crimes by being an impersonator. You know, it is it is clear that they're panicking, that they're just they're at the end. They're at the end of the bucket, the bottom of the bucket. They're just scraping the bottom of the bucket to find any way, and that includes committing more crimes. And so they're being really stupid. They really are, because they're just piling it up, and with every piling it up, it's a corroborating of the crimes that they did, because it shows their bad character. So, absolutely. Thank you so much. The comments on the post on Samaniego are insane. People actually defend him. Well, it's because it's because they're part of the same group, and um, you just had. Oh, and I want to. This is what I really wanted to talk about before I went off. Um, you know, as Samaniego goes, right? Uh, you know, there are so many people right now that are singing, that, criminals that um, are singing, that are absolutely giving information up. So many, y'all. And that leads to the likes of Bolton being indicted, not just searched, but indicted. And President Trump administration, the Department of Justice, has treated them very well. They haven't perp walked them. Um, and these are real criminals, okay? And so Bolton being indicted is a very, very big deal. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because he's very connected to General John Kelly, um, very connected to him. And General John Kelly, Marine General, was the commander of Southcom. And Southcom, that's El Paso borderland, y'all. Okay. Now you can say, oh, Arizona and all, but it. What I'm saying is El Paso is the epicenter, and Southcom includes that epicenter, and that's why it's so important. And it all absolutely includes duties over all the criminal trafficking and all of that. And then he went and worked for President Trump, and his duty was to secure the United States, right? To absolutely, and to see him turn on President Trump like he did, and go and work for Governor Campos in Chihuahua, who is absolutely confirmed to be connected to FTOs, right? Cartel FTOs, and be confirmed to be involved in this Plenitude Crematorium, and with others involved, and him aligning himself with her while um, getting contracts for the whole hundreds of thousands of children being trafficked through Fort Bliss. um, those um, uh, those contracts that are connected to that, uh, and more in our case, because they targeted us. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to make a prediction, because a lot of people are talking about who is the next one to be indicted. And so our prediction, and we might not be right in the next, but in the next coming up, maybe there'll be two or three or whatever. But maybe, I should be really, really confident, because the evidence is so overwhelming. But we predict that the next one to be indicted is General John Kelly. What he did is so bad, y'all. What he did is so bad, and President Trump knows it. Yeah. And President Trump knows it. Now, this is not a vendetta, okay? This is evidence that absolutely confirms that what General Kelly did was just so bad. So, and him being close to John Bolton, um, I just think that that's not a coincidence that that's coming up right now. So that's our prediction. We'll see what happens. We'll see who becomes the next one. But, they're saying Christopher Wray, and others. But we're saying it's General John Kelly, and rightfully so. So if they can deceive immigration, imagine who else they can deceive. Oh, yeah. And oh, no wonder my mail has been tampered with. Yeah, there's been, a concerted effort um, for anyone that cares about El Paso to stop you in your track. That's what this is. Um, they don't want El Paso um, to be a fighter, to be a country, to be a city, a county of the people, by the people, for the people, right? And to be tough and to be vicious, meaning fighting for what's right, legally. And a lot of people, including ourselves, don't know how to fight legally, right? We're learning. We've learned, and we've decided to take the time um, in order to get all the pieces in the right place for our claims, right? Make sure that we have all our ducks in the row, and the time is quickly approaching, very quickly approaching. There's a couple of things that we're trying to accomplish here so that we can put in our claims. Um, and so I hope that y'all are tough. I hope that you stand up against these hellions, right? These devils that want to hurt our country, hurt the community, hurt our military. I hope that you're very, very tough, and that you have can stand up against them and not cower, not be afraid, because these people, they're just um, they're fraudsters. They're up to no good. And they give this deception that they're strong and that they're powerful, and they're not. Um, even because don't forget, and what is my litmus test, or what kind of scale am I using? I'm using it against God. God is like the heavyweight champion of the world, right? They have nothing compared to God. And so, we just have to be really, really tough to save our country. Um, Absolutely. So I just wanted to let you know that they had a campaign out now to sabotage us and reach out falsely to people that were supporters. And I hope that you're tough and can just delete them. Just delete them. That's all you have to do is delete. Hit the delete button and let us know. Um, so that we can absolutely continue to report them. But they're already reported. But it takes 3,000 letters. It takes 3,000 letters, everybody. So we're almost there. We're almost there. So thank you so much. And it is, I'll let everyone get to sleep, and um, sweet dreams. And please, thank you so much for supporting us and sharing all of this information, and for all the sources. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye bye.